The Philippine Marine Corps has always been one of the smallest marine forces in Asia, yet it carries a strategic weight that far exceeds its size. While the United States or South Korea can deploy tens of thousands of Marines supported by amphibious assault ships, air power, and long-range fires, the Philippines must rely on a relatively small corps of about 10 to 12,000 Marines, most of whom are dispersed across the archipelago for domestic security missions. This raises an important question. With the equipment currently in service, is the Philippine Marine Corps truly capable of conducting modern amphibious operations? Or is it a force limited to defending small outposts in the South China Sea? The backbone of the Philippines' amphibious lift capability today is the Tarlac-class strategic sealift vessel. Built by PT PAL in Indonesia, the Tarlac-class entered service in 2016 and 2018, with 2 ships delivered so far. These vessels displace around 11,000 tons, can carry up to 500 troops, and accommodate vehicles, helicopters, and landing craft. For a country that had previously relied on aging second-hand ships, the arrival of the Tarlac-class marked a significant leap forward. They gave the Philippines the ability to transport a battalion-sized force with vehicles and supplies, while also supporting disaster relief operations during the frequent typhoons that strike the islands. However, the limits are equally obvious. 2 vessels are not enough to sustain large-scale operations, and they lack the aviation capacity of true amphibious assault ships such as South Korea's Doctrinal-class or the U.S. Navy's Wasp-class. They are workhorses, but they are not game-changers. For actual ship-to-shore movement, the Philippines relies on the AAV7A1 amphibious assault vehicle. 8 new AAV7A1s were purchased from South Korea and delivered in 2018, supplemented by a handful of older American units. The AAV7 is an armored amphibious vehicle weighing 23 tons, capable of carrying 21 Marines from ship to shore and providing them with limited armored protection. Its armament is modest, a 50 caliber machine gun and a 40mm automatic grenade launcher. In U.S. Marine service, hundreds of AAV7s are available to support large-scale landings. By contrast, the Philippine Marine Corps operates fewer than 15 in total. This number is enough to equip only a single company, far too few to transport even one of the Corps' Marine battalions. In practice, this means the AAV7 is more a symbolic step into modern amphibious operations than a practical tool for large-scale maneuvers. Beyond these dedicated amphibious vehicles, the Philippine Marines rely on an eclectic mix of armored cars and light tanks. The Simba V-150 and upgraded M113s provide mobile firepower, while the newly acquired Sabra light tank with a 105mm gun offers a modest boost in anti-armor and direct fire capability. Yet these vehicles are not optimized for amphibious assault. They are mostly wheeled armored personnel carriers, useful in counterinsurgency and patrolling, but limited in ship-to-shore operations where tracked amphibious vehicles or hovercraft would be superior. The lack of landing craft air cushion or other modern connectors means that any deployment of armor depends entirely on traditional landing craft and the limited well-deck capacity of the Tarlac-class. In terms of fire support, the Philippine Marines face even greater limitations. Their artillery remains centered on mortars, recoilless rifles, and some towed howitzers. They do not field self-propelled artillery, rocket artillery, or long-range precision strike systems under Marine command. While the Philippines has purchased BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles from India and introduced Spike NLOS systems from Israel, these are operated by the Navy and Army rather than the Marine Corps. As a result, any marine landing would require external support, either from the Philippine Navy's limited fleet or from Allied forces. In practice, this means the Marines cannot sustain high-intensity combat without American or Allied firepower backing them up. A useful way to measure the Philippine Marines is through regional comparison. The Republic of Korea Marine Corps numbers over 20,000, fields hundreds of AAV7s, and operates with the support of Doctrine-class LHDs capable of carrying helicopters and amphibious vehicles in large numbers. Indonesia's Corps Marinir exceeds 20,000 troops, supported by multiple Pag-asa-class landing platform docks, heavy artillery, and a wide variety of armored vehicles. Even Vietnam, which does not formally maintain a Marine Corps, fields multiple naval infantry brigades with amphibious armored vehicles, coastal artillery, and hardened island outposts. Against these benchmarks, the Philippines clearly stands as one of the smaller and less equipped amphibious forces in the region. The significance of this disparity is not purely military but also strategic. The Philippine Marines, with their limited equipment, are not capable of launching a large-scale assault to seize and hold contested islands against a well-armed opponent. What they can do is reinforce and sustain existing garrisons, particularly on Pag-asa Island and the smaller features controlled by Manila in the Spratly Islands. The Tarlac-class allows for troop rotation and resupply, while the AAV7s provide a limited ability to conduct small-scale landings. But in the event of a major confrontation, they would be dependent on allies to provide naval gunfire support, air cover, and logistics. In this sense, the Philippine Marines function more as a symbolic tripwire force. Their presence on disputed outposts signals Manila's commitment to sovereignty, while their actual combat power is designed to hold just long enough for allies to respond. Another implication of these limitations is the continued dependence on the United States and other partners. The annual Balikatan exercises and the Kamandog drills with the U.S. Marine Corps are not just training opportunities, but also strategic messaging. They highlight that the Philippine Marines will not operate alone in a crisis. Instead, they are integrated into a larger allied framework, one where American, Japanese, and Australian forces provide the high-end capabilities that Manila cannot afford. This dependency also explains why the Philippines invests in relationships and reciprocal access agreements with partners beyond the United States, such as Japan and Australia. The Philippine Marines, as currently equipped, are not self-sufficient, but they are an essential part of a coalition defense architecture in the Western Pacific. The limits of equipment also shape doctrine. Unlike the U.S. Marine Corps, which historically emphasized large-scale amphibious assault, the Philippine Marine Corps increasingly resembles a littoral defense force. Its mission is less about projecting power across oceans and more about holding key terrain in the archipelago and denying access to adversaries. This explains the emphasis on small but modern systems like Spike NLOS and the planned integration of coastal BrahMos batteries. In future, the Philippine Marines may evolve toward a model similar to the U.S. Marine Corps' new Marine Littoral Regiments: small, Mobile units operating in island chains with anti-ship missiles and reconnaissance assets. But this transformation will require sustained investment and doctrinal reform, neither of which can be guaranteed given budget constraints.